Hey everyone, happy new year and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been quite a while, but I wanted to prioritize YouTube in the year 2025. And I'm starting by sharing a list of 25 things that I want to try or attempt, maybe accomplish in the year 2025. I actually posted a condensed version of this on Instagram Reels. I figured I could do a longer video with more context behind these choices here on YouTube with you all, and reveal some of the ones that I decided not to share on Instagram. So this started off as kind of like a vision boarding, goal setting project, but eventually it morphed into less rigidness and more about, hey, these are things that I just want to try. They're things that I always wanted to try as a kid but never got the chance to. That being said, I also wanted to just include a little disclaimer because I've seen other creators do this or something similar, and in the comments people are always saying, oh, this is obviously a grab for attention from brands, or you're just looking to get this stuff all sponsored and do these things for free. So I just want to say that that is not the case with this. This is genuinely stuff that interests me, and like I said, a lot of it comes just from my childhood. I will be totally transparent and say that there is one thing on this list that I wouldn't be mad if the company decided to partner with me on it, but it's a big if. I'll let you know what it is when we get there. I love to bake, and I've got the baking part down, but I've never been able to make a really beautiful, nicely decorated cake, and so that is on my list for 2025. Childhood ones. This is Simone Biles, the GOAT, who obviously is in Chicago now too, so maybe one day I'll get to meet her. But this photo is representative of me wanting to try an adult tumbling or gymnastics class. As a kid, I distinctly remember seeing a gymnastics practice for the first time. I walked by with my mom. She was picking me up from like an after-school camp, and I was staring, so she asked me, she's like, oh, do you want to try that? And I said yes. But after I watched a little longer, I kind of chickened out, I guess, because it looked so cool and they were doing all these flips and like stunts and tricks, and I was, intimidated, I guess. So I never went through with it. I ended up doing soccer instead. So now that I'm an adult, I would love to try an adult class. Next up, this is a picture of Hanauma Bay in Hawaii, where I used to live. I spent a good deal of my childhood in Hawaii, and I really want to go back. Kenny has never been. And it's just so magical, and obviously the nostalgia of seeing places that you grew up in and that were super beautiful and unique. I've been dying to go back. I haven't been in a long time, so hopefully Kenny and I will get to go. I'm hoping to go for my birthday this year. Another childhood one is pottery. I think it's called pottery throwing or clay throwing. I've been to places where you kind of pick out a pre-made piece and then paint it, and that's really fun, but I've always wanted to actually create a piece from scratch. Next up, this is a picture of Nashville, which I've never been to and I would like to go to. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Nashville, but this picture represents taking a road trip to a nearby city. This is a picture of the Eiffel Tower, of course, and although it doesn't have to be Paris or France specifically, Kenny and I got to travel internationally a couple times last year, and I would love to keep the momentum going and go to at least 2 or 3 different countries. Downtown San Juan, Puerto Rico, where I am from, and this picture just represents going home, being with family, and in your happy place. This is a picture of me from my Miss Maryland USA days, and this is not an announcement. I'm not competing anytime soon, but it is just representative of me becoming involved in that world again, either hosting a pageant or judging a pageant or some sort of public speaking engagement. This typewriter represents writing, obviously, and by no means do I think I'm going to publish a novel or anything this year, but I have always loved writing, and in middle school, being a writer was actually my career goal. I actually did start a little how-to guide related to pageants a while ago. I never finished it, so maybe I'll get to finish that. So I know how to hand sew a little bit. I can do little tiny mends or very basic stitch work, but I would love to actually be able to sew a quality wearable piece of clothing for myself, maybe like a simple dress, so we'll see how that goes. This picture represents camping. I used to go camping when I was little, albeit at a beach with my parents, but I would love to actually go and like do that as an adult with Kenny, pitch a tent, the whole 9 yards out in the wilderness. This is one of the dreams that I have had since I was little. I never got to follow through on. I did soccer and cheerleading instead, and then once I was a junior/senior in high school, I actually did take a dance class, and they wanted me to join the dance company, but because I was graduating, I wasn't able to. So hopefully I'll get to pursue this dream as an adult and see where it goes. This is a picture of a Jonas Brothers concert that I went to with my little brother a couple of years ago. It was actually his very first concert ever, which was super exciting, and we had such a great time. So this picture just represents making more memories like that and being able to go to a few different concerts this year. The one I said that I cannot show because of an NDA I signed, obviously that still stands, so I still cannot show this one. This microphone is a podcast microphone, but the goal attached to this is not starting a podcast. There are millions out there. I don't think we need any more unless it's something unique and interesting. This actually represents me wanting to take like a voice lesson. I don't sing in front of people. I sing in the shower, and I don't know if we all think this about ourselves in the shower, but I don't think I sound too bad sometimes. And I've actually been told by a professional singer that I have good pitch. So I don't know, that kind of encouraged me and made me want to try this maybe. This one represents investing, not necessarily in gold. I just liked this photo, but when it comes to math, numbers, investing, crypto, all that stuff, stocks, I am not great at it. I have tried to understand it and learn a little bit on my own, but it doesn't make sense to me. So I'm hoping that in 2025, I'll be able to actually learn a little bit and invest, even if it's nominally. These are foreign language books. I would say I became fluent in French after studying it since middle school, basically until my freshman year of college. Unfortunately, though, you don't use it, you lose it, right? So I feel like I've regressed to a stage of being still conversational. I still know a lot, but I wouldn't consider myself fluent in French anymore. I have studied a few other languages where I consider myself to be very beginner level, like I know enough to get around. My goal would either be to become fluent once again in French or to become conversational in a couple of other languages. This is a picture of the playground in LA. It's a mega famous dance studio, and I don't think we have any of these in Chicago, but there are dance studios here, obviously, so my goal attached to this photo. So this just represents wanting to take like a hip hop class or something like that. Okay, this is one of the ones I did not show on Instagram because I foresaw negative comments about this. It's a penguin. This represents me wanting to do a penguin experience. Obviously, that would have to take place in a place where penguins are held captive, which is not great. However, we actually know some people over at Brookfield, and their penguin program is all penguins who have been rescued and are not able to return to the wild. So that makes me feel a little bit better about it. But yeah. This next one is a photo of a basketball. This represents wanting to go to a Chicago Bulls game. Kenny's a huge fan, but I have not been to a Bulls game at all. Since I've lived here, I've been to a Bears game, I've seen the Sox, I've seen the Cubs, but NBA I have never been to. So I would love to take Kenny. The goal here would be to sit courtside, but I've looked and those are super expensive. But I'd be happy just to go and to see the game and dress cute for it. Okay, so this is just some laptops. I couldn't find a better photo, but this just represents wanting to take at least one college level course this year. I have a degree in communications, my bachelor's degree, and I started my master's degree a few years ago, and unfortunately I stopped. I haven't gone back, unfortunately, yet, but at this point in my life, I don't think it's feasible for me to take on a full college load on top of my full-time job and like all my side stuff. So if I take at least one college level course, even if it's not related to my degree, I will be happy. Another childhood one, which I'm noticing kind of all have a pattern. This is ballroom dance. I have always wanted to take a ballroom dance class, which is ironic because my mom is huge into like salsa, which is one of the ballroom styles. And as a kid, I was always like embarrassed to dance with her or in front of her for some reason. I don't know why, it's dumb. I do know how to dance salsa, merengue, bachata, all those now, but I would love to learn a couple of other ballroom styles. Vegas. I feel like every adult I know has been to Vegas except for me. I'm gonna be 29 this year and I still haven't gone, and I really, really wanna go. Even just for like a couple days, I hear that's all you need anyway because there's so much going on. So Vegas is on my list. Okay, here's one of those more mundane, everyday ones. This is making pasta from scratch. I hear it's not as hard as you'd think and requires basically just like egg and flour. So I am hoping to give this a try this year. Obviously not just give it a try, but actually make it edible and taste good. So we'll see. This is another one that I skipped in the Instagram version of this video because it's kind of shallow. Go ahead and judge me for it. But I would love to own a Chanel bag. Just to put it out there, any designer stuff that I ever own will always come secondhand, if that makes it any better. Here's the other shallow one that I skipped along with that, but I feel like this is a reasonable goal that literally everyone has on their list, and it's just being able to make money this year. Last but not least, reading books. My goal for 2024 was to read 1 book per month, and I started off the year really strong. I was already at 4 books by February, I think, and so I took a break thinking like, oh, I'm ahead of the game, it's fine. But then I never picked up another book after that. So this year my goal is to read 6 books. And that is it. So we finally got into the part where I said I would tell you which one of these was going to be like a ploy to get a brand to notice. And that is the Super Bowl. If the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl, which seems kind of likely, but we don't know, I would love to attend. Obviously, I've never been to a Super Bowl. It's hard to go. It's expensive. Obviously, living in Maryland for like 15 years, I became a huge Ravens fan and still a Ravens fan. And if they made it to the Super Bowl, that would be just iconic to be able to go see them. I also just want to say this isn't like far-fetched and too much of a reach because I do already have a pre-existing relationship with their marketing team and I've done things with them in the past. So yeah, if the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl, yes, consider this my official grab to try and get their attention to send me and Kenny. So that's my list of 25 things that I want to try in 2025. Let me know if you have a list like this and if there's anything interesting on it that you think I should add to mine. And if you got inspiration from this and are going to try something, let me know that too. Obviously, I'll be bringing you guys along on each of these, so you'll get to see all of my list come to fruition hopefully this year. And I'm looking forward to sharing that experience with you guys.